So here's going to be the video of replacing the fuel line we determined was not good. I don't get to pressure test it because it looks very restrictive, but I can if I want. Go ahead and pull that line out. It just looks old and distorted. Might as well just throw a new line in there. Not even worth pressure testing it. So throw that away. Do whatever you want. Next step is fuel line. Determine the size you need for this application. So we go back to the old one. And we're gonna see what size we got here. So just matching these up best as we can. So this one looks about right. Put that back aside. Show you how to feed these lines through the easy way. So feed new gas line through. They usually won't fit. Just trying to shove them in there. You'll be fighting with them all day. So what I do is you want to cut them at an angle. Something like this. Trim it up a little bit. Just so you can put it through and grab it. You can fold it like that. Then shove it through and then grab it with your whatever you use. I use these little needle nose scissor things, Harbor Freight. Go ahead and shove this in here. Might be a little tricky at first. Once you get it in there, you'll see, if you look around in there, you probably can't see it on camera, but I can see it poking out. So you just want to get in there and try to grab that with a little needle nose. Might be a little tricky, but we'll get it. Alright. Let's get a hold of it. Alright. So that's about good on the length, so we'll just cut that to where it needs to be about. And let me grab a new fuel filter. I'll put a new fuel filter on here because why not? We're going to replace it with the same one that came off. Or similar, at least. So put a new fuel filter on there. And pop it back in the tank. That part's done. Now, you gotta size your line up. Easiest way to do that is kind of mock the carb back up where it was. I'll leave you a little extra just in case. Just remember where it ran. Mine ran down here. Up to the barb. You can leave you a little extra slack. You can take more off. You can't put more back on. So cut your piece. Test fit it. If it's too long, you know, you're gonna trim a little off. Very simple. Kind of hard to see. Alright. So that length will work for me. You might have to trim yours a little bit, but while we're at it, we're we're gonna pop this hose off the top of the primer ball because it's a little dingy too. Might as well replace that. Hose is cheap. So we're gonna line that up with, we're gonna find the right diameter hose, which it is this one right here. We'll just line this up approximately. It's not rocket science. Just trim a little extra, just in case. Because you can't put more back on. If you can, I want to know how. The easiest way to do this, I just grab these. That's how I put them on. Just put that back on that barb. And boom. Now, maybe it wasn't all the way on the barb. Get my light out. Alright, we're on there. Everything looks good. Now, time to put the carb back on. So, remember how it came off? All cells are different. You attach your fuel lines. Kind of just guessing here. We'll get it on. Try to see where we're at. It's kind of hard to do this like this. Here we are. Alright. So, slide your carburetor back on. Make sure it's seated so you don't get no leaks or nothing. Now, we're going to take the throttle linkage, which is here. I'm going to feed that back through the hole, which is, you can see it right here. Goes like this. Feed that through, and we will pull the trigger. We have to push the linkage up a little bit. It should seat. Everything's working fine, no binding, so you know you're good. So then I'm gonna take the mount, your lever, put that back on, your choke lever. Throw that back on there. It's a little tricky to get in here. Times it wants to, times it don't. So grab all the two 8mm nuts and the T20 hex, and we'll put the mount back on that holds the carburetor on. I'll put the nuts on. Put them on, throw this T20 back in here. We'll tighten the T20 up first. Just snug them down. They don't have to be torqued to crazy torque specs. We'll tighten the 8mm back down. Alright. You can double check them with your hands. If you do it with impact, I wouldn't recommend doing it with impact or the hex driver. Put all your wires back in. My spring's broke, so I can't attach this one where it's supposed to go. So yeah. So make sure your spark plug's tight before you try to run it, obviously. Then we can put our filter back in. Make sure that's nice and seated. And we put the filter cover back on. We're gonna make sure the spark plug is tight. So with your scrunch or whatever you use to tighten your spark plug down, make sure that's tight. Fuel cap. not forget that. And put the top cover back on. Another thing to note that I forgot in the video is if you got extra power balls, just go ahead and replace them because they always go bad. So we'll tighten the top cover back down and then we'll see if she runs.